So I went into a completely different project here just to sort of show you what the end result should look like from a multicam perspective. I will go over the steps to actually do the multicamming process. However, I wanted to just jump in and show you what the end result looked like, because I think sometimes that can be a little easier. A lot of times what I'll do first is I'll start to clean up and level the audio. Now, we don't want to use the camera audio any more than we need to. So what we often do is these will be enabled when you see them. They'll be blue, and what we'll do is we will start by disabling all cam audio. So we'll want to disable that to then start working with only the external audio devices that we have. Now, it's rare for you to be able to get away with just using external audio. A lot of times you're going to have to use some of the cam audio. So what I like to do is I like to find a camera that is consistent all the way through. As you can see here, DV1 plays from start to finish, and you can see there's a very tiny section here where DV1's not recording audio. So what I would do is I would start by enabling this track here if I wanted to use this cam audio, and then also turn around and start to level it by bringing the audio gain down considerably. I would probably go -15 on the gain for this, so that it's a very, very small part of what I'm doing. I'll bring that audio back up when I need to, or enable it and disable it as I need to as I'm going along. For right now, we're going to leave it disabled, and we're going to try to work with, in this case, we were lucky enough to be able to work with just external audio. Now, what I'll oftentimes do before I start anything and before I start multicamming is I'll try to scrub through these audio tracks to determine where the audio device is recording from. There's a bunch of different places. A lot of times we'll put a microphone or two on the groom. We'll put a microphone on the podium. So if you see people who are talking, let's see, here maybe. No, maybe here. There it is, good. So as you can see, there's a podium over there, and a lot of times we will put a microphone, as you can actually see it in this frame. We'll put a microphone on the podium, so one of these audio tracks will hopefully be recording that podium audio. And then lastly, sometimes we'll actually tap the board that the church has, or if there's going to be some kind of microphone that a DJ uses, we'll actually record that audio. So as the microphone gets passed around, you'll actually hear that audio. Really what you're just plain and simple looking for is the best quality audio during the time at which the person is speaking. So once you've identified where all these audio tracks are, what I'll often do is, as I'm going through the multicam process and selecting the video tracks I want to use, I will come in and I will cut the audio tracks and turn on, or enable, if you will, the different audio pieces that we need. So as for example, you can see with this here what it looks like, as you can hear them speaking.
It is with deep.
So obviously there's some hiss in here that could be removed, but I'll take care of that later. But as you can see here, what we did was we shifted from, in this case, which STE000 I found out was actually the groom's microphone, and 00902 is the board audio recording the priest. What I'd like to do is I would like to switch, if you were to listen to what this sounds like.
It is with deep affection for.
As you can see, it's not as clean as we'd like it. So what I would do is, just before he gets ready to say anything, I use the slice tool to cut this small line. And then what I'll do is I'll start working with this audio by turning on and turning off any audio tracks. So right before he speaks, I'll disable this audio track and re-enable this one.
Deep affection for Rob.
So obviously that sounds a lot better. So what I'll do is I'll listen to this all the way through till it goes to do something else.
Amplify their love. And the first reading will be read by Hannah.
So he's all done talking about the first reading being read by Hannah, and we're going to go over and notice the shift in the audio. Now what happened was, now that I'm going to recorrect myself, the STE000 actually is not the groom's mic, it's actually the audio at the podium. So as you can hear, what'll happen is if you keep this enabled and this disabled, you'll actually hear when she goes to speak. You can't hear it at all. So I would disable this and re-enable that, And during her entire speaking,
what the boy felt at that moment was that he was in the presence of the only woman in his life, and that with no need for words, she recognized the same thing.
so you can hear the very clean audio. And so basically what you're going to have is cutting back and forth as it goes from somebody finishing their speaking at the podium.
Well, Nick is going to read the second reading.
Now the priest speaks and says something about the second reading. And now it's back to the podium again. And so you can see how I basically try to cut sections out that make sense and make them work by right-clicking and enable, right-clicking and disabling them. That's what I do in order to prepare the audio. The other thing I'll do is I'll often jump in and I will change the gain on all of the audio tracks to try to bring up or level the audio. Sometimes you'll get a microphone that's really low. It's good, but it's low, so we'll have to bring it up, and I think that might be the case with this one. Sure, you can see how I've raised the decibels by 5 decibels on this priest's mic, on the mic that he's using. And again, there's going to be some times where you're going to have to use the board audio. Maybe these audio tracks didn't pick up a speaker, and you'll have to pick them up in the best mic that you can. And when you do that, just simply use the C tool to slice and enable the section of audio that you need, and then disable the section that you no longer need.